This Chat with the Experts is brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. I am Kyle Hawk, and I am joined today by Mike Robertson of iFast. We're talking about how you can avoid the pitfalls of the holiday season and stay in shape heading into the new year. And I was just talking with Mike about how to take the first steps toward your goals, but now we want to talk about some of the finer details once you've gotten in the swing. Should everyone who's starting to think about fitness consider a personal trainer, or are there some folks out there who can kind of handle the workout process on their own?
You know, I think if money wasn't an issue, absolutely I would tell every person out there to go out and hire a personal trainer. Just the first 6 to 8 sessions that you would go through would be invaluable as far as learning proper exercise technique, how to bulletproof your body, so to speak. Also understand that not everybody monetarily may have the funds for that. So whenever possible, though, I think if you can work with a coach or a trainer, even just for a couple sessions, it'll make a profound impact because you're going to be able to use those skills and those techniques that they teach you for the rest of the years that you're training.
Yeah. We talked in the first segment about how the holidays affect our workouts and our thoughts about fitness this time of year. You mentioned the pumpkin cheesecake, which really has my mouth watering. I wish you would have brought some.
Personal favorite.
And talking about putting on a few extra pounds during the holiday season, for those that are wanting to start the new year burning off some of the fat that they've picked up over the past few weeks or months, are there some keys to burning fat?
Yeah, I think if you're serious about burning fat, all of the research basically tells us that some sort of high-intensity interval training or short burst, high-intensity type exercise is going to be the best way to do that. The downside to that is you can't typically sustain that for very prolonged periods of time, right? So we're talking 8, 10, 12 weeks. So a lot of times we kind of call that's our bazooka. So we'll generally start the year when somebody is maybe a little bit less fit, and we'll kind of open it up a little bit lower intensity work to start. And then say February, March, as things are getting more serious, you know, the sun's coming out or you're going to spring break or whatever, that's a time when you're really going to use kind of that high intensity work because that's going to give you the best bang for your buck with regards to fat loss.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that's something that's happened over the years here as we learn more and more about personal fitness, and there's more options to work with a professional and do some of these things, that there's not just like a workout. There's different areas of focus that you can take depending on what you want out of your own workout or personal fitness program. What makes a cardio workout successful in someone's overall fitness goals? Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, so when it comes to cardio, the primary goal here isn't, say, fat loss. And a lot of times people want to intermingle the two. A lot of times if you're training specifically for cardio, the goal is to improve your cardiovascular system, right? Like your heart, your capillaries, and all those things that connect your body. So one of the big things that we find is that our clients really struggle with low intensity exercise. It sounds kind of like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. But typically a lower heart rate, say 120 to 140 beats per minute, it's low intensity. It's great for your cardiovascular health. Just like you can build a bigger bicep, you can actually build a bigger heart, which is a good thing. It's more functional. It's more efficient. So when you work in those low intensity zones, that's really beneficial. Now, the problem with that is, unless you've got a Fitbit or a heart rate monitor, something of that nature, it's very easy to be above that heart rate very quickly.
Yeah.
And I see it time and again where I prescribe this 120 to 140 for somebody, and I'll put them on one side of the gym and I'll go to the other side and watch somebody and come back and they're dripping with sweat. I'm like, what are you doing here? And they're like, well, oh yeah, my heart rate's 170. Yeah. So it's very hard to rein yourself in. Yeah. A lot of times you want to go hard, you want to put in effort, but a lot of times your heart needs kind of this base building phase. It's just like you wouldn't go in the gym and pick up your heaviest weight the first time you ever worked out. Sure. So it's the same concept when it comes to your cardio. Typically, the longer duration, lower intensity stuff is really beneficial early on. It's going to be the most impactful for your cardiovascular health too.
Yeah, it sounds like identifying that target heart rate from the start and getting a good idea of that is not only beneficial, but I mean, it's going to serve you well from a health standpoint as you go through this.
It's huge. So what we actually do is we'll look at somebody's resting heart rate. So that just gives me an idea of how generally efficient their heart is. Somebody that is 70, 80, 90, 100 beats per minute, they're obviously going to need some work. Our goal for almost all of our clients and athletes is to get their resting heart rate below 60.
Okay.
So we kind of look at that, and then we've got specific tests too that we do to see kind of how cardiovascularly fit they are.
Right. Let's talk about weightlifting a little bit. How big of a part should that be in most fitness plans, and how do you identify what sort of goals you should be shooting for?
Yeah, so I think strength training should be a part of every person's program. And it doesn't matter if you're a young kid just learning how to handle your own body weight all the way up to a 70 or 80-year-old client. And we have clients as old as 88 years old that train at our gym and they lift weights.
Wow.
So I think it's critically important that they do that, not only for building muscle mass. If you want to lose body fat, we know that if you build muscle, it's more metabolically active. You're more likely to burn body fat just hanging out all day. And as well as for our older populations, just being able to support their own body weight, get in and out of chairs, just what we would call activities of daily lifting, strength training can be hugely beneficial for them. So kind of our mantra at our gym is that everybody's an athlete. So we're going to train the entire spectrum, whether it's strength, power, conditioning. All of our clients are going to work on all of those factors. It's just going to be the intensity that's different based on where somebody's at.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the difference between weight machines and free weights. Are both of these going to be things that are incorporated into a strength program?
Yeah, they absolutely can be. The biggest difference that you're going to see is a weight machine kind of locks you into a range of motion. So they have like a universally acceptable size person that they're measuring the machines out for. So for certain people, if you're very short or very tall, or you have very long limbs or something of that nature, it may not be as comfortable. Typically, we defer to free weights, and that's just a personal preference for our gym, because not only do you build like the actual muscles that you see, whether it's your pecs, your thighs, whatever muscles, but you also build all the small stabilizing muscles that you can't really see, but are really important for keeping your joints healthy. So it's really beneficial if you can learn to use free weights. And again, this is where having a trainer maybe early on in your programming could be hugely beneficial. So they teach you the right technique.
Yeah. As we talk about all these different things, cardio, strength programs, burning fat, I mean, there's also a whole industry now based off of supplementing all of this with dietary supplements. I wanted to get your opinion on that, if that should be a part of someone's fitness program, and if there are any benefits or drawbacks to going that route.
Yeah, so supplements are quite simply a supplement to what you should be doing with your diet and nutrition, right? So kind of the goal that I always give people is let's really try and dial in your nutritional program first. Make sure you're eating a healthy diet. Make sure you're eating enough times per day, making the right food choices. Let's start with all those things first. And then absolutely, if you want to add some supplements in that will help you towards your goals, that's fine. But there are a couple supplements that are kind of universally beneficial. A probiotic, which most people probably haven't heard of unless you're in the industry, but it's critically important for your gut and intestinal health. So a probiotic is something that we always recommend. Fish oil just helps kind of generally lower inflammation throughout the body. So this could be helpful if you have joint pain, heart disease, that sort of thing. And then a multivitamin. So we're really kind of narrow in the scope of what we recommend. We can go really far and wide, right? Like if you work with athletes, there's certain things you would give them, or endurance athletes. But if you want to just start with the basics, a fish oil, a probiotic, and a multivitamin are probably the best bets to get going.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the role of diet and all of this that we've been talking about. And it seems like it's pretty important to identify up front about the changes you need to make in your diet as you go into your workout program. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially if your goal is anything that changes your body composition, right? Whether it's shedding body fat or adding muscle, really you need to have your nutrition dialed in first. I mean, that's the most important thing, because that gives you the building blocks to either build muscle or shed body fat. So the nutritional component simply can't be overlooked. And even if your goal is to just kind of maintain whatever body weight you're at, your nutrition, the way we think of it, it's fuel for your body, right? Just like you don't feed an Indy car, gas pump, regular gas, like you should fuel your body with nutritious foods that are going to help you perform at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just one of those things that it seems like the more we learn as the years pass, that's become just an integral part to this whole process. And it's another reason why it seems very important to have a personal trainer at your side that can kind of help you identify some of the habits you should change and some of the things that you should be doing when it comes to your diet. Well, we are going to stop and take a breather, but when we come back, we're going to look at what's trending. We're also going to answer some of your listener questions, get you some feedback from Mike Robertson of iFast. Stay right here. You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List.
More than 2 million members use the power of Angie's List to find and hire great local service providers. Whether you need a plumber or a pet sitter, Angie's List has you covered. See ratings and reviews in hundreds of categories, shop popular offers, and request scheduling assistance directly online. Memberships start at just $9.99 per year. That's less than $1 a month. Join now and get 40% off with promo code WIBC40. Visit angieslist.com today.